Welcome to my little village in Rustic, Italy. Today I'm high above the clouds, surrounded by mountains and history. Just look at this view from a spectacular viewing piazza just seconds from my home. You really do feel as though you live in the sky. The medieval bell tower and church stand tall, reminding us of the timeless beauty in this magical place. In today's video, I'll share some festive weaving preparation, a new sewing project, and the magic of Christmas, which has arrived in my village. The rhythm of crafting is my favourite way to embrace the season of peace and goodwill. Here I am preparing my yarn for weaving, a process both meditative and rewarding. I don't have anything fancy to help me with this part of the process, but I get by. Sometimes with a small delay that has to be resolved, but that's just like life, and the problem gets resolved and I carry on. I find this part of the process daunting before I start, but then it becomes exciting as I think about my new project ahead. I'm using a very Christmassy yarn by Hobby. I mentioned it in my last video. Every 10 threads I tie a knot. The cross in the threads is to keep each thread in order for when I warp my loom. I'm just going to bring my warp yarn in. Threading the loom and winding the shuttle are steps that connect me to centuries of tradition. I don't often get a perfect block of time to do this, so I often have to divide it over 2 days. But I always like to get the heddles threaded before I take a pause until the next time, when I can get back to my loom. This yarn will look absolutely beautiful and festive when it's woven. And I'm using the same yarn for both the warp and the weft. It has a graduated dye in reds and greens, and it really is very festive. I'm not sure what I'm going to use my woven fabric for just yet, but I'll keep you updated with my progress. My loom is vintage from the 1980s, so sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. But not too tricky that I don't enjoy the process. Can you see the sparkles shimmering as they catch the light in my weaving studio? It's beautiful, isn't it? I need to wind my shuttle now with more yarn. Little Maya, one of our dogs, likes to keep me company. I wind my shuttle using a figure-of-8 pattern on the outside edges of my shuttle. It makes it easier to use when I'm weaving. I also think of the yarn and the colours as I'm winding, and I try to wind it in a way that will make an interesting pattern as I'm weaving. It doesn't take me long to do this. I've just received a fabric delivery from an Italian online shop called Panini Tessuti here in Italy. It's wrapped absolutely beautifully, and I love unwrapping it to see what my new fabric is like. I do have to confess that I had already unwrapped this fabric, but my camera wasn't recording, so I wrapped it up so I could unwrap it again for you. The packaging was absolutely beautiful. This is a waxed kind of paper, and it makes a lovely crinkly sound, which I love. This brick-coloured velvet is the start of something special, a pinafore dress that I hope to wear on Christmas Day. I'm going to make it with one of the patterns I thrifted on Vinted. The fabric feels so luxurious and warm. It's perfect for the holiday season. Sewing brings such joy, blending creativity with practicality. What do you think of my fabric? Please comment below. It was €6.50 a metre. In a future video, I'll tell you how I find fabrics at such a low price. There's my pattern. Now all I need to do is take my measurements to ensure that this dress fits perfectly. Don't forget, it's all in the details. Then I can get started. I'll bring you an update in my next video. If you don't want to miss it, please consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget the notification bell, because that way you'll be the first to hear about my new videos when they're released. I like to keep my fabric clean until I'm ready to use it. So for now, this is going back in the package. But I really can't wait to make a start on this piece of clothing. And whilst I don't want to rush it, I do feel there's a little bit of urgency so that I can get it ready for my Christmas Day outfit. just put it to one side. I recently picked up these storage boxes to keep my sewing accessories and patterns in. It'll keep them all nice and tidy. Organisation is the key for smooth and relaxing crafting. I do need to reorganise my studio, and these little boxes will be so useful in keeping it tidy. What do you think? Please let me know what you think of my little boxes. As Christmas nears, my tiny village comes alive with festive decorations. And just to make it even more special, the night they were switched on, snow fell as I walked through the narrow streets. It just added to the charm. There's something magical about this time of year in my little corner of the world. I'm using the film my daughter made as I was so excited by the occasion I forgot to take my camera. So I am sorry if the quality isn't as clear as it could have been. There's a special tree in my village on the main piazza. Here it's been decorated with baubles, each one with the name of a resident here in my village. As you can see, there aren't many. Well, thank you for joining me today in the heart of this rustic village. Crafting and slow living brings such peace, especially during the holidays. Don't forget to subscribe for some more cozy moments and creative inspiration. See you next time.